Hello my friends, hello my besties, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexis and today we're going to be talking about Taylor Swift inspired books. This is a list I've compiled of Taylor Swift inspired books, either books that have Taylor Swift inspired titles or explicit on-page references to Miss Swift herself. I'm wearing my cardigan, I have a cup of coffee. Let's get into it. First, we're going to talk about books that are full of actual Taylor Swift references, not just the title. First book I have is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. She actually has two books on this list because she is 100% a Swiftie in real life. The Do-Over is a time loop Valentine's Day romance about our main character who's having like the worst Valentine's Day of her entire life and is forced to relive it over and over again, all while falling in love with a new love interest. It is very short, very cute, very fun, and there are many on-page Taylor Swift references, including the main character getting a tattoo of a very famous Taylor Swift lyric. This book is very fun, it's very fluffy, and it's by far, I think, Lynn Painter's most underrated young adult book. I see all of her other ones much more than this one, but it's very fun and very cute. And Valentine's Day coming up, if you're looking for something seasonally applicable, I would recommend The Do-Over. I also forgot to grab my copy, but Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter also has on-page references to Taylor Swift. Do I need to introduce this book? This book is so famous. It's this enemies to lovers sort of boy next door romance, a very beloved and famous YA book, which I do really enjoy. And fun fact, there's actually a poster up on my wall with a quote from the book that is the book quoting a Taylor Swift lyric. The main character Liz is 100% a Swiftie, and there's moments in the book where the main characters are listening to Taylor Swift songs. I'm gonna show you. So up here on my wall, that one. There is actually a quote from Better Than the Movies where the characters are listening to New Year's Day by Taylor Swift. I'm pretty sure every book with Lynn Painter is Swiftie coded in a way, but those are the two that I can remember having explicit on-page mentions of Taylor Swift. This book I just read, so it was very fresh in my mind, and that is What Happens After Midnight by K.L. Walther. This author writes young adult romances, and this is, I think, her second book. It's about a senior prank where the main character and her ex-boyfriend are working together to pull off this elaborate heist, all while sneaking out and around their campus at night. It's very atmospheric, it's very cute, a little cheesy, but many on-page Taylor Swift references. The main character at one point mentions how her favorite karaoke song is The Story of Us, and there's so many lines in this book that were Taylor Swift lyrics that were just like dialogue where I'd noticed so specifically that that was a Taylor Swift lyric. I know you're not in the way of like, oh, like I'm reaching. I could tell. Like there were whole sentences of a Taylor Swift lyric that a character was saying or thinking, and I was like, oh, Taylor Swift coded. Like that's what that is. That's what the author is trying to do, is make that a little nod towards a Taylor Swift lyric, which I thought was really fun and very cute. I gave this book 3.5 stars. I would recommend it. I especially loved the audiobook. I went back and forth between physical and the audiobook, and the narrators did such a fantastic job. It was very quick to get through despite the fact that it's honestly a bit of a thick book. It's like 350 pages. For research I did online, I found that other books by K.L. Walther also include Taylor Swift references, but because I either haven't read them or it's been a while since I've read them, I couldn't remember what references were on the page. So I just wanted to mention that, but I don't want to go into like the details since I don't remember any details. So I have not read this one either, but it is The Playlist by Morgan Elizabeth. This book is like the Swiftiest coded Swiftie book ever. So immediately when you look at the cover, there's a million different Taylor Swift details. Mirror Ball, this list right here has like songs from Fearless on it. This is Zoe's version, The Playlist. It's on the back, there is a license plate that says Getaway Car. Like it is incredibly Swiftie coded, and at the beginning of every single chapter there are different Taylor Swift songs. I found out about this book just because everyone was talking about how Taylor Swift coded it is. Like there's Long Live on a chapter. If I'm not mistaken, it's a Best Friend's Brother, It's Always Been You, Road Trip, One Bed, Good Girl, Spicy, Rom-Com. And it's number 5 in a series of interconnected standalones, but you can read them all independently. I have not read anything from this author, but I know Morgan Elizabeth is a pretty beloved independently published author, so I'm looking forward to reading this, especially when I want something that is like very Taylor Swift, because I know that this entire book is going to be very heavy on the Taylor Swift references. The next one I don't own a copy of, and that is Kiss Her Once for Me. This was a very cute holiday rom-com that I read pretty recently that did have on-page mentions of Taylor Swift. It is a novel about two women who used to date and then broke up, live separate lives, but are having a forced proximity moment in their friend's mutual cabin. They don't know that the other person is going to be there and then end up having to spend the week together and get snowed in. This book was super fun and super cute. I listened to it on audiobook and absolutely ate it up. Like ate it up. I loved the romance between the main two characters so much. And this book isn't like a heavy hand in Swiftie coded, but there are quite a few mentions of Taylor Swift songs playing during different scenes of the book, since this book is especially very music heavy. One of the characters is a musician and I think the other is a singer, and she might play the guitar if I'm remembering correctly. And this one was definitely Swiftie coded. I think the author has to be a Swiftie. Like to write a Swiftie coded book, you have to be a Swiftie. My cat is banging at the door trying to get in. Last book I have on this list, I am taking the word of the internet on this one, and that's The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. I read this trilogy when I was probably 13 to 14 years old, so I don't remember a lot of the content of the actual books, nor do I remember if there's actual Taylor Swift references in the books themselves. But according to everyone on the internet, there were Taylor Swift references. And even if there are not, the TV show adaptation, which I think has been really amazing, and I'm so excited for season 3 to come out this year. I'm so excited for season 3 to come out this year! That show is very Taylor Swift coded, and I know Jenny Han is a Taylor Swift fan, so I feel like I had to include it on this list. This series is very nostalgic for me. It really takes me back to when I first got into reading specifically young adult romance books, because it was one of the first big young adult romance series that I read that made me realize how much I enjoyed a little young adult book. I really want to reread this series, especially since the audiobooks, they have a different version now where it's the actors portraying the characters, which I just think is so freaking cool. Now we're gonna go on to the next category of books, which is books with Taylor Swift inspired titles. I'm sure many of these books do include Taylor Swift coded messages inside of them. I've read some of them, I have not read some of them, but all of them have very distinctly Taylor Swift titles. I don't know if can you hear that? I have to frame my cat, hold on. As Taylor Swift once said, karma is a cat trying to escape my lap because he loves me. Now that he's in here, he's unbothered. The first book on my list of books with Taylor Swift titles is Better Than Revenge by Casey West. I have not read a Casey West book in a long time, but the publisher Delacorte Press kindly sent me a copy of this, so thank you so much. It says there's only one goal on Finley's vision board: to become a famous podcaster. This is a high school young adult romance. It looks very cute, and of course, Better Than Revenge being the title, I'm gonna eat this up. I'm very excited to read it. This next book I have read, and I think there are Taylor Swift references inside of it, but the title is Out of the Woods, which is by Hannah Bonham Young, my beloved. This is a save the marriage, like second chance romance type book where the main two characters are going on a hiking trip, a way to bond and nurture the relationship, which has been really struggling. I know Hannah Bonham Young is a big Swiftie, and I mean, it's called Out of the Woods, and they're literally in the woods for the entire book. Also a Taylor Swift title, but probably has references inside, is Begin Again by Emma Lord. This is a young adult college romance about our main character who's going to a new college. She essentially transfers there because her boyfriend's there, only to find out that he transferred to a different school, and she's left alone, completely independent on this new campus, and has to figure out what to do and begin again. I enjoyed this book. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 stars. I have no way to describe a book by Abby Jimenez, but I think you all know that this was going to be on the list, and that's Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Her books are so emotionally impactful and beautiful, but they have these very long descriptions that make it hard to consolidate in a sentence. I'm obsessed with the cover of this one. I'm very excited for it to release this summer. I've only read one book from this author before, which I loved, which was Just for the Summer, so I'm excited to read another book from her. Okay, this one I have read. It's Never Ever Getting Back Together. This is a sapphic YA romance, which is like The Bachelor style. So the main two characters go on this bachelor like teen dating show but end up falling for each other. It was really cute. If I remember correctly, there was also enemies to lovers or dislike to lovers going on with it. And if I'm like digging back into my memory correctly, it's also dual POV. I read this several years ago and really enjoyed it. This last book is one that I have not read, nor did I know anything about it, but I thought the description of it was really good, and the title is incredibly Taylor Swift coded, so I thought I had to go back and include it, and that is Don't Want You Like a Best Friend by Emma R. Albin. According to the internet, it is a swoon-worthy debut queer Victorian romance in which two debutantes distract themselves from having to seek husbands by setting up their widowed parents. It's a little Parent Trap moment, it's sapphic. I personally am not a big fan of historical fiction, so I don't know if this is one that I will go back and read personally, but it does sound very cute, and I had to include it on this list because I love the title being Want You Like a Best Friend. If I'm remembering correctly, I think this author also has another book coming out that's like the similar Swiftie title, and I think it's You're the Problem, It's You, rather than Hi, I'm the Problem, It's Me. If I'm wrong, that would be embarrassing, but I'm pretty sure that's true. So as I've been sitting here filming, I realized there's a very important book that I did not remember to include in the first half of this video in the Taylor Swift coded books, so let me grab that. I would be so foolish to do this video and not include Daydream by Hannah Grace. The main character is wearing the Taylor Swift cardigan. She's entirely giving pathological people pleaser energy, and there are many on-page descriptions or references to Taylor Swift. The main character references her cardigan being something she wears a lot. She references the Folklore album. I love this book. It's the third in the Maple Hill series by Hannah Grace and holds such a special and beloved place in my heart. I sincerely cannot believe I forgot to grab this while I was scripting the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. If you have any other books that are Taylor Swift recommended, coded, what? If you have any other Taylor Swift inspired books that you would like to recommend to me, please let me know, comment down below or message me on Instagram. I would be happy to chat with you. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will hopefully see you next week, okay? Bye! Oh, if you make it to the end, tell me what your favorite Taylor Swift album is. Mine depends on the day of the week, but Folklore holds a very special place in my heart. However, I keep listening to Midnights on repeat.